What if I told you there are families who have never paid a water bill in their entire lives? Not once. No monthly charges. No water company. No pipelines. No dependence on public utilities. And the strangest part? They've been doing it for generations. For most people, that sounds impossible. Water is one of those things we simply assume must come from a controlled source. A city reservoir, a treatment plant, a deep well drilled by expensive machinery. But hidden in quiet farming communities, there are families who rely on something completely different. Something that surrounds every person on Earth, every second of every day. Something invisible. And once you understand it, you'll never look at the air around you the same way again. Several years ago, a visitor spent time on the farm of a man named Harry. In his 70s, Harry's family had farmed this land for generations, dozens of acres filled with crops and livestock where old traditions thrived. Everything seemed normal until one curious detail stood out. No rain had fallen all week. The nearby stream was shrinking. The soil looked dry, yet every morning the water trough beside Harry's barn was completely full. Curious, the visitor had to ask, "Where is all this water coming from?" Harry just smiled, pointing upward. "The air," he said, "the air is never empty." It sounded like philosophy, maybe even poetry. But Harry wasn't joking, he meant exactly what he said. And over the following days, it became clear that he was right. Most people think water only comes from two places, the ground or the sky. Typically, you drill a well or collect rainwater, and those are the options most people know. However, there's a third source, one that has existed long before modern plumbing, hiding in plain sight, the atmosphere itself. Every breath you take contains moisture, and every cubic meter of air holds tiny amounts of water vapor, even when the sky is clear with no clouds. The air is carrying water. Lots of it. So how do you capture it? Think about a cold glass of lemonade on a summer day. After a few minutes, droplets appear on the outside. That water didn't leak from the glass. It came from the air. The cool surface caused moisture in the atmosphere to transform into liquid water. This natural condensation happens every morning on grass, windshields, leaves, and spiderwebs. It seems like these droplets appear from nowhere, but they don't. They're from the air itself, nature's nighttime miracle, often unnoticed. Long before modern infrastructure, people observed natural systems closely for survival. They learned to collect moisture from the atmosphere, a knowledge that withered with advancing technology, yet remains preserved by a few today. Power outages happen, infrastructure fails, pipes break, restrictions appear, yet systems that emulate nature persist, unnoticed and unstoppable. The atmosphere ignores utility bills. Physics, unbothered by regulations, allows condensation to happen, night after night, year after year, unchanging. Off in the distance, Harry walks toward an unassuming structure near his property's edge. The full trough beside his barn is not born of magic, luck, or costly technology. Instead, it results from a simple yet ingenious design, a structure so affordable that most folks spend more on their daily lunch. This design collects water silently while the world sleeps. No motors, no fuel, no electricity. Just air, physics, and patience. As the sun sets, the camera pans gently to reveal a mesh-covered frame in a field. Harry approaches what appears to be an ordinary setup, constructed from common materials. It looks irrelevant, even quaint, with no signs of sophistication, no wires or solar panels to catch the eye. But beneath the surface, every night, it captures the unnoticed and transforms the invisible, atmospheric moisture, into precious water. This feat of nature knows no complexity. It relies purely on the principle of condensation, the age-old process responsible for morning dew and cold glass droplets. While others walk by without a second thought, Harry understands its quiet power, power enough to ensure tomorrow's water supply with just the right angle and timing. For millions of years, the same natural processes have been at work on Earth. Harry wasn't battling nature. Rather, he was collaborating with it. Our air, packed with invisible moisture, envelops us in what might be termed the Earth's invisible ocean. Not of water, but of air. Most people don't realize they live surrounded by this vast ocean of air, rich with hidden moisture. Trillions of gallons of water vapor hover above us at any given time, unseen and untouched yet undeniably present. It hugs every tree, blankets every field, and encircles every person. The true challenge lies not in discovering water, but in persuading it to reveal itself as liquid. Harry's ingenious system addresses this. Imagine the night air, a warm, moist breeze sweeping across the landscape. As the evening cools, this air can no longer hold all its moisture. The surplus seeks refuge on cooler surfaces where something magical unfolds. Tiny, nearly imperceptible droplets emerge. As these droplets multiply, they start to merge, finally succumbing to gravity's pull. The outcome? Genuine liquid water, birthed from the ethereal clouds of vapor that had drifted in the air moments before. Every droplet has a destination, and every droplet contributes to the final collection. The angle of the frame is crucial. Harry, an expert in water collection, emphasized a tilted frame backward, neither vertical nor horizontal, just somewhere in between. Most beginners mistakenly set their collectors flat. While it seems logical to maximize surface area, a flat setup only traps moisture and causes pooling, which then evaporates swiftly. Instead, leaning the frame allows gravity to do its magic. Droplets form, slide downward, gain momentum, and eventually trickle into the trough below. This transformative angle turns random condensation into usable water. But that's not all. The wind is equally vital. Moving air sweeps fresh moisture to the collector surface. Without airflow, water production can plummet. Therefore, the collector must face the direction of the evening breeze, allowing the air to flow through the mesh. Moreover, lifting the collector slightly off the ground is beneficial. Ground-level air tends to be warmer, not ideal for condensation. Just a foot or two of elevation can access cooler airflow, boosting overnight water collection. Through decades of experience, Harry's family understood that even the smallest changes bring the greatest advantages. Humidity rises, condensation accelerates, water production peaks. It's during those pre-dawn hours when much of the night's collection occurs. This is why protecting the collector from early morning sunlight is crucial. The cooler it remains, the longer it continues producing water. Picture this: water dripping into a trough at dawn. By sunrise, the transformation becomes visible. Tiny droplets turn into streams, and streams into collections. The trough contains water that wasn't there the evening before. No rain fell, no pump operated, no well was used, and yet water appeared as if the atmosphere itself had donated part of its hidden supply. For Harry, this was another morning, a reminder that solutions are often hidden in plain sight. But what if someone wants to drink this water? Is it safe? Why do some communities trust atmospheric water more than traditional sources? When people learn water can be collected directly from the air, they often wonder, is it safe to drink? Surprisingly, in many cases, atmospheric water begins its journey cleaner than most natural sources. It never touches soil or flows through drainage systems, but condenses directly from airborne moisture, avoiding common contamination. Understanding this, communities often rely on atmospheric collection as a trusted resource, valuing its purity and the simplicity of collecting water from nature. The biggest concern isn't the water itself, it's the collection surface. Picture a mesh frame outdoors, naturally gathering dust, pollen, and tiny airborne particles. Though not dangerous, families often prefer additional filtration. Enter an elegant old solution, a simple bottle filter that you can build in minutes using ordinary materials. Visualize building it. Take a plastic bottle, remove the bottom, and turn it upside down. Create layers: cotton, charcoal, fine sand, and another cotton layer. Each performs a task. Cotton traps large particles, sand catches finer debris, and charcoal removes odors and impurities. Water moves through it, driven by gravity. No electricity, cartridges, or special equipment required, just basic materials. Charcoal is particularly fascinating with its millions of microscopic pores trapping contaminants. Appearing solid, it's a complex maze under magnification, capturing unwanted substances. Charcoal's been used for centuries to enhance water quality, long before modern filtration existed, proving the enduring value of old solutions. While some boil water as an added purification, understanding and utilizing available resources often offers powerful answers. Instead of buying a solution, communities explore natural processes, demonstrating that sometimes forgotten knowledge holds the key. Once municipal systems became widespread, atmospheric water collection seemed unnecessary. Why collect moisture from the air when a faucet provides endless water? Gradually, the old techniques faded away. Books stopped mentioning them, schools stopped teaching them, and most people forgot they ever existed. But not everyone did. Independent communities continued these practices generation after generation. Not from a rejection of progress, but because these methods still worked. When something is effective for decades, why abandon it? As the visitor prepared to leave Harry's farm, they were left with one burning question. If atmospheric moisture could still provide drinking water, what other forgotten methods might exist? How much practical knowledge has quietly disappeared from mainstream awareness, yet been preserved by those close to the land? Harry hinted at an older, stranger technique involving something nearly every sheep farmer has: raw wool. For centuries, sailors faced the problem of securing fresh water at sea when weeks might pass without sight of land. They relied on a peculiar trick: wool. After humid nights, sailors noticed their woolen clothes became damp, not from rain or waves, but from moisture absorbed from the air. Could wool collect enough water to be useful? History suggests it could, providing a lifeline long before modern technology, illustrating that innovation sometimes means rediscovering the old. Most materials simply get wet, but wool behaves differently. Its fibers possess an intricate and complex structure, filled with tiny scales and microscopic pockets. Countless surfaces interact with moisture uniquely. When humid air flows through wool, water vapor naturally latches onto these fibers. The moisture doesn't merely drip away, it stays, trapped like a sponge invisible to the eye. Unlike synthetic materials, wool can hold substantial moisture without feeling wet. Historical accounts tell of sailors who leveraged this property, hanging wool fleeces to capture atmospheric moisture overnight. By dawn, they could wring fresh water from the wool. This technique surprisingly required no rain or freshwater sources, just moving air and natural fibers. But Harry saw opportunities beyond the wool itself. He realized that coarse wool, often deemed worthless, could become a valuable water-collecting tool. The process was simple. Take a large fleece and hang it where air flows freely, on a fence, a tree branch, or a rope. Temperatures drop, humidity rises, and the fibers begin to capture water. Hours pass, and the wool transforms unseen moisture into stored water. At sunrise, the collected water is revealed, ready for use, a testament to patience over speed. Imagine a world where two farmers took different paths but arrived at the same destination, extracting water from air. One farmer relied on surface condensation, while the other depended on absorption. Despite their differences, both farmers developed a robust backup strategy. When one system faltered, the other continued to function. This mirrored Harry's philosophy. Harry intrigued visitors not with his advanced equipment, but with his mindset. He never saw moisture harvesting techniques as mere survival hacks. To him, they were just common sense. The atmosphere holds moisture, certain materials gather it, and gravity transports it. Nature provided all the processes. Harry simply learned to cooperate with them. The true marvel in Harry's story isn't about water collection, it's about rediscovering forgotten knowledge. As technology advances, some valuable skills fade into obscurity. Harry embodied the bridge between the modern and the traditional, reminding us of the critical importance of maintaining these ancient practices. Harry's tranquility wasn't born of wealth or high technology, but of understanding alternatives. His immense confidence stemmed from knowing there are always multiple solutions to problems. For Harry, and perhaps for us, the real treasure is the knowledge that secures self-sufficiency. The water floating through the air tonight is real. The dew forming tomorrow morning is real. These processes continue whether people pay attention or not. The world is full of opportunities disguised as ordinary things. Information tells you that moisture exists in the atmosphere. Wisdom teaches you how to collect it. Information explains condensation. Wisdom shows you where to place the collector. Information fills books, but wisdom survives generations. Harry's family possessed both knowledge and wisdom, but it was practical experience that made the difference. Knowledge tested repeatedly becomes more valuable. It becomes reliable. Not every traditional method deserves preservation. Some are inefficient, others were replaced for good reasons. Yet, some disappeared despite remaining effective. The challenge is knowing which methods deserve preservation. That requires curiosity, investigation, and a willingness to learn from those who have spent decades observing the natural world. Sometimes progress means inventing something new. Sometimes rediscovering something old is the way forward. Harry understood that dependence and convenience are not the same. Convenience can vanish, knowledge endures. Tools can break, but understanding survives. The question is, what else have we been looking at our entire lives without really seeing it?